I'm Max Venus, and in this video we're going to look at time stretching in FL Studio. Okay, so for this demo I've got a drum break loop. Okay, so I've got the project set at 130 BPM, and when I put the metronome on, I'm pretty certain that this isn't matching. You can hear that's falling out quite heavily there. So I'm going to try for this drum loop, I'm going to try using FL to detect the tempo. There's two options for this really. There's detect tempo. So detect tempo is going to change the project value. You can change basically the project value to the estimate that it's giving you here. So it's saying this drum loop is around 142 BPM. So if I click that and click yes, it changes the project to 142 BPM. Now this is good if you found a really cool drum loop and you want to get started with it and you don't want to change the speed of it. So then you can bring it in, detect the tempo, and then now you've got the tempo to work on. And then you can start working with that loop at its original speed. But if you've got a track that you're halfway through and you find a loop and you like the sound of it and you want to bring that into your project, you're probably going to want to use the other option, which is fit to tempo. So I'm just going to show you that now as well. So I've got my project back to 130 BPM here. I've got this drum loop, which is at sync. I want to change this drum loop to fit with 130 BPM. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select fit to tempo. And then I'm going to select 142 here, which we know is around the speed of this break. So when I click that, it's going to stretch that loop out to fit our 130 BPM project. So now, we've actually stretched that loop to 130 BPM, which is great. So now we can incorporate that in our current project. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to stretch a vocal loop in FL Studio. We're using the playlist for this. So I've got my vocal loaded here, and I'm just going to play it so you can hear that it's off beat.
It's time to shine. Give them what you got, baby, time to show.
So you can hear it slipping off the beat there, but we can hear some of the words which we think should sit on the beat. It helps if your singer has sung it for you and you obviously know the beat, but in this instance, we're going to need to manually work it out. I wouldn't recommend using the detector tempo for a vocal because this algorithm works by detecting the transients and then stretching based on those. But here the transients might be all over the place because the singer's probably singing off beat and giving it a bit of rhythm. So you're going to need to use your ears for this. So the best way to do this is to load your sample in, and then as I move the tempo, you can see that this vocal sample is moving around on the grid. So if we take a listen.
It's time to shine.
So I think time should probably sit directly on the beat. So I'm just going to adjust the tempo to try and move that into being on the beat there.
It's time to shine.
So that sounds about on the beat. Let's listen to the rest of this vocal.
It's time to shine. Give them what you got, baby, time to show them all you are. It's time to shine.
So it might be slipping off a bit at the end here. We're coming out of the tempo, so it probably needs a little more adjustment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the second phrase, and then I'm going to move the tempo again and try and get that to fit a bit better. So somewhere around here, I think. So we can see now that on this beat, I think this is time. So I've got it now at 100 BPM. Let's see whether that sounds good.
It's time to shine. Give them what you got, baby, time to show them all you are. It's time to shine.
Okay, so now we can hear that that's actually on the beat. But what do we do if we want to change the tempo of this? So maybe we want to take this up to a house 120 BPM. But if we do that now, obviously we're moving we're ruining all that stretching that we've just done, or detecting the tempo if you like. So let's take it back to 100 BPM. Now this is a little tip I like to use to make this easy for myself. I'll come up, I'll use the cut tool, and we know now that this is perfectly in beat. This is a 100 BPM loop. So what I'll do is I'll cut the last bit here to make it exactly an 8-bar loop in the playlist. I'll then change the tempo of the project. So I'll make this 123 BPM. And you can see that now this is extended out, but we know that this should be an 8-bar loop. So what I can do is I can click on here to make sure that this wave option is selected. And then you'll see this stretch tool here. So just make sure that stretch is highlighted. And then when you select the edge of this vocal, it's going to actually stretch in time. So what I would do is make that again back to an 8-bar loop. And now I know that that is perfectly in time because we have detected it as being an 8-bar loop, and I've cut it to an 8-bar loop. So now if I stretch it, it's going to be perfectly in time again. So I'll zoom in really close in here, and then I'll use Alt, and I'll just make sure that that is bang on an 8-bar loop. So now if we play this,
It's time to shine. Give 'em what you got.
it's in time, but it sounds like a chipmunk. So what we're going to want to do is pitch that down and bring it back to its original pitch. So double click on the wave and come up to, so you'll see this window here, and on the pitch knob, all you've got to do is right click and reset it. Now what that'll do is bring it back into its original pitch. So that's now time stretched it, actually using the auto mode, so it will detect which is best for the audio that you've loaded. There are different algorithms in here, so if you're stretching a drum loop, you might want to experiment and see which one works best for you. These all have different applications, so just make sure that you're experimenting, seeing which one sounds best. Let's have a listen to this now.
It's time to shine. Give 'em what you got, baby. Time to show them all you are.
Okay, so now we've got this loop, this vocal loop, at its original pitch, and now we've moved it up from 100 BPM to 123 BPM, and we can start working on some house beats to go along with it. So in this video, we've looked at stretching a sample to fit our project tempo, and then adjusting the tempo to fit that sample. We've also looked at manually detecting the tempo of a vocal and then stretching that vocal and also adjusting the pitch.